is Charisse, and today we're gonna make a vegan cinnamon roll. So let's talk cinnamon real quick, you guys. Cinnamon helps to fight diabetes, it helps with cognitive decline, it helps fight cancer, it helps with your dental health, it helps with your skin, it's an anti-inflammatory, it's an antioxidant, it helps fight viruses and infections. Here's what I thought was really cool too, is it helps fight allergies, which I thought was super important because for vegans, we don't eat honey because that comes from bees. So that's another, cinnamon's a better way to help fight your allergies without, you know, ruining the bees. So you probably should put the cinnamon if you're looking for the health benefits on things like sweet potatoes. Anything that you want to sweeten naturally without using sugar is a great way to use it. But if you're a fat kid like me and it's the weekend, we're gonna make some motherfucking cinnamon rolls. I warmed up 1 cup of cashew milk. You can use any non-dairy milk. Soy or almond is fine. But let me just be very clear here. This cannot be hot. This should only be warm. If it is hot, you will kill your yeast. So if you make it too hot by accident, let it cool down. For the love of God, you're gonna ruin your yeast. All right, so we have 1 packet of yeast. It's like, I don't know, 50 cents from the grocery store. We're just gonna pour that guy in there. Oh my God, I didn't even open this right, y'all. Okay. Pour that in there, and we're just gonna whisk it up real quick, and then we're gonna let this hang out for at least 5 minutes. We want this to get all frothy McFrotherson before we go any further. We have 4 cups of flour in our KitchenAid. I don't normally use a KitchenAid, but when we're making dough, y'all, we gotta do that. I also have 1/2 cup of softened vegan butter. Again, I use Smart Balance. We'll put that in there. We also have 1/2 cup of sugar. We have 1 teaspoon of salt. And then, you guys, we have a flax egg. So if you don't know what a flax egg is, I'm gonna tell you. So this is 1 tablespoon of ground flaxseed mixed with 4.5 tablespoons of water until it gets gelatinous. So it's about like 5 minutes or so. You want it to get more of that egg sort of consistency, right? So we're gonna put that in there, and then we're gonna do our handy dandy whisk attachment on our KitchenAid, and we're gonna let this bitch go to town. Mix that bitch. This is what it will look like afterwards, which just basically still looks like flour, so don't be alarmed. I know it's Bizarro land because we put like flax egg and stuff in there, but this is exactly what you want it to look like. Okay, now we're going to take off our whisk attachment, add our dough attachment to our KitchenAid, and then we're gonna take our milk, if I can get this bitch on here. See, this is why I hate KitchenAids, y'all, I can't even. We slowly added our cashew milk yeasty mixture until it formed a nice dough ball. As you can see, it is now dough form, and if it's too wet or sticky and like sticking to your dough hook or your hand, you can add a little bit of more flour to this. The first time I made this, I did the 4 cups and it was perfect. The next time I had to add 1/3 cup. It's probably going to depend on the humidity and moisture in your house, in your air, where you live, but this is actually pretty perfect. The 4 cups worked great this time. I greased this bowl with some Pam, and this is what I'm going to put my dough in to let it rise because we don't want it to stick. Oh my God, I can't get out of this thing. Okay, so here's our dough. We're just gonna, you know, make sure it looks all good and gravy. Oh, you guys, look at this dough right now. For real, for real. Okay, so just kind of make it into a little ball shape. Just kind of, you know, whack it a little bit. You don't want to over knead this. Just like as soon as it formed into a ball shape, we immediately took it off of the KitchenAid because we don't want to knead this too much. This is a light dough. This is not a heavy bread dough. We're going to cover this up with some saran wrap, or if you're old school, with a towel, and let this rise for about an hour until it has doubled in size. While our dough is still rising, we're going to whip up our filling. So I have a cup of brown sugar, no, I'm sorry, a cup and 2 tablespoons of brown sugar. And I have 3.5 tablespoons of cinnamon that I'm putting into 1/2 cup of softened Smart Balance. You can do any vegan butter, you can use Earth Balance, whatever. And we're just gonna mix this up. And we're just gonna let this sit out at room temperature and just kind of hang out and wait for our dough to finish rising. Our dough, as you can see, has risen significantly, so we're just going to turn this out on a lightly floured surface. Oh, baby, look at this. Okay, Put a little bit, actually, more flour on top. And then we're just gonna take a simple rolling pin. This was like a couple bucks on Amazon. I like the straight ones. We're gonna go ahead and put a little bit of flour on there. And then we're just gonna roll this out into a rectangle shape. So this is preference. You could do a quarter, what was it? A quarter of an inch, I think I've done before. Now we're gonna take our butter and cinnamon and brown sugar mixture and we're just gonna spread this all over. We wanna leave a little bit of a strip on this end closest to us that does not have any filling on it. That way we can seal it up. And then we're gonna start rolling. We're gonna start rolling from the end furthest away from us, and you wanna keep it kind of tight, that way it sticks together, but you don't want it too tight because you're gonna let these rise again, so you wanna give them a little bit of space, or else they're just gonna come like, the middle's just gonna come shooting out of the top, and they're gonna look special. So just gently roll this up. You could use the circle cake pans, but I don't have any, so I'm just going to use 2 dishes that I have on hand, and I've lightly sprayed with Pam. Now, you can actually, let me tell you what I'm doing. I have a piece of thread. You could use a serrated knife to cut your cinnamon rolls, but I just find that that's kind of tricky, and it smushes it down, and they're not pretty, so I'm going to show you what I do. So I take a piece of thread. You could use dental floss, but if you're going to use dental floss, you guys, make sure it's not flavored, or that's going to be fucking weird. So you just take it, you put it under it, you cross it over, and then just pull like that. Put it under. Let me try and make this even. And pull like that. And then cinnamon roll, right? You could easily just wrap these up and put these in the refrigerator and then, you know, make them the next morning. That way you are prepped for like a holiday or a birthday or something like that, or for the weekend. But what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and we're going to cover these up now, and we are going to let these rise for another 20 and 30 minutes, and then we're going to cook them. But remember, if you put these in the fridge the next day, the next morning before you bake them, make sure you let them sit out a little bit out of the fridge and rise a little bit more. Normally I would do a cream cheese frosting on my cinnamon rolls, but I don't have any vegan cream cheese on me. But if you want that recipe, you can go to my vegan carrot cupcake recipe on this channel, actually, as you know, make sure you're liking and subscribing to, girlfriend. And that is the same frosting that I use on those cupcakes. So instead, what I'm going to do is I just am going to whip up some, I don't know, chocolate peanut butter kind of glaze. This is peanut butter mixed with some cashew milk, and then I have some cocoa mixed with some powdered sugar. And I'm just going to add a little bit at a time until I get it the consistency that I want. So look at this gorgeous peanut butter chocolatey drizzle glaze thing here. We're just gonna put on, girl, look at these cinnamon rolls. Like, what is happening? This is vegan. Can you even believe it? Oh, vegans eat gross food. My ass. I don't even actually know which I like better, the cream cheese frosting or this like random peanut butter chocolate thing we made. Y'all, holy shit right now. Look at this. Look at how like fluffy and cinnamony and perfect texture, perfect distribution, like so easy. Honestly, you just have to wait for shit to rise. So that's why I just prep ahead of time. I highly recommend this for any like sleepover party or like anything like that. We're going to be eating this the rest of the week for breakfast, because if you eat too many of these, you might have a diabetic coma. But they're so good. Make sure you like and subscribe to my channel, you guys. Follow me on social media. Take pictures when you make my recipes. I want to see them. And full recipe written down, midnightmunchiesandmore.com. I put out videos twice a week, and thank you so much for joining me.